Wow.
They must have just ran out.
Yeah, really disappointed. My bourbon that I asked for wasn't there. No cigars.
Should have been at the bottles and bottles and bottles.
Did you get rid of the gym?
It's in my house with the bourbon. Sorry, we didn't offer that up because I scooped that up right away and said, we gotta get that out of the office.
Yours are fine as Walmart.
Oh,
Walmart, water.
Chris,
Services.
I heard you were,
Don't expect it.
what do you, that you wrenched at the races
Mhm.
at Williams Grove? Who did you?
Yeah.
Not Williamsboro,
Oh, we're.
no, Port Royal and Half Moon.
Okay, it's just fair warning, it's 1 o'clock. We're gonna give it about 2 or 3 minutes for agents to
They're still coming in.
show up, log in, get out of the parking lot, figure out their situation. Anybody have any good dad jokes?
Terrible. I thought the one when she says I look at. Said about her jeans.
What do you got?
My dad, what is that? Are those your golfing jeans? Like what? There's a hole in one.
All right. All
That's a good
right.
dad joke.
All right.
Hey, what did the alien say to the flower bed?
That's a good dad joke for sure.
Take me to your weeder.
What? G-Napoli. G-Napoli. It was wingless sportsman. I had a whole car, Iron Valley car. I was all outfitted, yeah. Yeah. Had the bald realtor on the side of it. He's with Chad Baker now.
No.
Oh, hi, Jamie. I didn't see you sneak in.
No, I don't.
From Port Royal.
How are you?
We only raced there one wingless sportsman were there.
Because you don't know my name. When you're doing.
They give me.
I think he knows your
Not
name.
last year, the year before, the year before that,
They get
and the year before that.
the answers, and we just have, we just take our.
I've decided to start assigning numbers.
Pages.
And our.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Jamie, have you met Rob?
This is like a travel.
Yeah.
People are like.
But you really don't.
She was at Elevate.
Yeah.
She was at Elevate.
Oh, how are we doing
It's for you right now.
Yeah, all these people walk up to me all the time.
We're going live
I
in
realize
30
I'm
seconds.
in my 20s.
Oh, the worst is when you have like clients that you go home to and you didn't remember them, like, cause I do that sometimes too, like, or I get them right here, repeat one.
So because last time that I tried to introduce Jamie to you, I forgot her name. So Rob, this is Jamie,
I actually sent Jamie and Margaret a lead.
Oh, yeah.
I did.
I told Chrissy that we met, but she was like, oh, but you didn't really meet him. And I was like,
see, today you're gonna really need her.
Yeah, we're gonna get down and dirty.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. Hi, everybody. I'm Justin.
Hi, Justin.
I'm here with Rob Cleapor. He's CEO of Iron Valley Real Estate. How you doing, Rob?
I'm awesome, thank you, sir.
Great. Thanks for being here. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it and appreciate having the access to leadership of this whole damn company on a regular basis. And that's what makes us special and different. You guys have access to us. We have access to our friends and partners in corporate, and we all support one another the same way that you support the clients. So we're going to get down to it. It's kind of a town hall format. This one is a little bit themed to go with our monthly theme that has to do with marketing, social media. So we're gonna do some of the general fun interest stuff, but then we're gonna kind of steer some of the conversation to the social media and marketing philosophies as we go through. Sound good? All right. Anybody have any concerns before we get started? Is anybody particularly sensitive that we need to steer clear of any? All right.
Yeah, I know. I'm completely winging
All right.
this too, so I apologize.
All right, we'll take care of Snowflake.
Hopefully I get some good tidbits.
All right. So, here's a softball for you, just to get you warmed up.
I understand. All right, let's do it.
Did you ever imagine yourself running a national real estate brand?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Right?
No, no. I mean, I spent 20 years in the service industry. So I always thought I'd just open a bunch of restaurants and bars and nightclubs, and that was gonna be my life. So, in a million years, I would have never thought I'd be in real estate or running a company.
So follow-up to that is, what's been the most surprising part about that journey from service, hospitality into real estate?
I think the correlation between businesses, I think that we always think, I think because you look at people in corporate world and they dress differently and they act differently. I think you think that business is different at that level, and I don't think it is. I think everywhere from the bottom to the top, business is business. I don't think it really changes when you move from like a small business to a corporate business. It's all the same things. It's just at a different scale. So if you can figure out how to scale it, then I think you're in good shape. So I think, but the biggest surprise to me, believe it or not, was I ran nightclubs for a long time, and I had some really interesting employees. And I'm like, this is great. I'm out of the nightclub business. Like, I'm not gonna have to deal with all the crazy alcoholics and all the weird things that are happening behind the scenes. And then I got into real estate, and I'm like, you guys are way worse than my nightclub employees. Like, I was blown away. So yeah, that would probably be my biggest surprise.
So the most surprising part is that people in C-level positions just like wearing suits.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
That's it. They're the same level of business, same business decisions. They just like wearing suits. Okay. What part of this journey are you most proud of? And what part of the Iron Valley brand brings you the most pride right now?
I think just staying true to ourselves. And I think that from the beginning, it's always been, if people are gonna believe in us, then we have to deliver. And I think that we've stayed true to that. I think that's why I'm so driven. That's why I think we're always pushing 110%, because if we told people 7 years ago when we started franchising, you know, that we're gonna grow and we're gonna be a huge company and we're gonna help you increase your footprint and we're gonna save, you know, everyone money and put more money back in your pocket. I can't stop that, you know, and you can't slow down. And I think, to me, that I think when we look at it, I think we're doing that. And I think we're always trying to deliver something better, something more exciting, something that provides better tools for our agents and owners for growth. So to me, that's it. I just think that, you know, it's just remembering why we started. And that was to make people's lives better and to give people an opportunity to really grow their business and change their lives. And I think that we continue to try to do that all the time from behind the scenes.
We can identify with that. I mean, we feel like you always have to hammer down. You can't let off the gas, because if you're not growing, you're dying. You know, you're gonna plateau and tail off. So we definitely get that. One of the things that I think that we fail to do a lot is sit back and say, wow, that was a hell of an accomplishment, or that was great. So if you had to take a minute and focus, is there one moment that kind of gives you a feeling of validation or specific pride? Like, did you have any benchmarks where you just said, damn, I nailed it?
So this is kind of like personal and business related. So my son was in a class like a year ago in high school, and it was like a career planning class, and they're talking about real estate. And he's like, Dad, he was like, I hate you. I'm like, what's up? He's like, we talk about real estate today and career planning. And he's like, so they're pulling up real estate stuff. And he's like, every freaking thing that they pulled up was you or Iron Valley, you know? And I'm like, I made it. I'm like, that's cool, you know? And he's like, so he was like, he thought it was cool, I think, but then he was also kind of embarrassed, because he's like, you know, everybody's like, that's your dad, Dylan. And there's my face plastered everywhere, and there's Iron Valley everywhere. So I think, to me, that was that moment that I'm like, man, we created something larger, you know, than what I thought it was going to be. I think that I don't realize what we have.
That's really cool that you built all of this out here that benefits all of these people, and then what hits home is your kids' class. That's really cool. I like that.
It's legacy, right? Everything I do is for legacy, so
Why else would we do it?
yeah, that's it.
I mean, there's an easier way to make a buck, probably.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cars.
so we're gonna get a little bit towards the marketing stuff now that I warmed you up.
Okay,
All right.
here for it.
What do you believe sets Iron Valley apart from other national brokerages, not just in branding, but in culture and vision?
Ooh, okay, so I'll start by relating to myself. so I came from the real estate or the bar and nightclub industry. I feel like that industry was further along in the social media game than any other industry. I think when I look back at it, like that industry, that service industry, we were utilizing social media for like growth and to announce events far beyond other businesses looking at using social media for those kind of things. So when I got into real estate, I looked at what other agents were doing and I thought it was bland. I thought it was vanilla. I thought it was the same old crap. And so when I started advertising myself initially, that's actually what drew Adam to me. When I started advertising myself, when I got into real estate, it was how I perceived myself and how I wanted to like advertise myself. So it looked almost like bars, nightclubs, like it was exciting, it was fun, it was, you know, it was edgy. And then when I joined Adam in Iron Valley and I looked at some of the things we're doing, I'm like, this is cool, and we have really great splits, but we just look like everybody else in real estate. And you know, I think that we just wanted to be different and we wanted to be a little more edgy. And I think that, you know, the traditional real estate agent that has their glamour shot from the 80s that, you know, drives around in their big Mercedes and show homes, I think those days are done. And I think that sorry.
That's close to the bone.
Sorry. So, you know, I think that people don't want that either anymore. I think people want salespeople that are relatable. They don't want people that talk over them or try to pretend they're higher than that or holier than thou, right? So I think that the culture that we built around that kind of branding is one that is inclusive. And I think we talk about being inclusive, not in the sense that it needs to be politically correct. I think so many companies try to be inclusive because that's what you need to be. And I think for us, it was, I always felt like I didn't belong. You know, I started at Berkshire Hathaway. I was in a Hershey office. So if anybody knows about Berkshire Hathaway, 2017, their Hershey office, that was the office for home sale. That was the #1 office in all of home sale. It was all killers. Like they were good agents. They've been in the game for a long time. And here's this young kid, younger, right? I wasn't young, but younger than them, who's covered in tattoos, who doesn't dress like them. And they're all looking at me like, you're not going to be successful. I remember they used to tell me about, you know, and the way they did it was they throw you, everybody has their own private office, except for you, because you're new. So you're in the middle of the bullpen and you have to work your way up to get here and feel like this. And you know, 3 months in, I'm killing it. You see my name on the board. And then they start talking and then they're like, well, what are you doing? Like, how's this going? And I'm like, I'm just working. Like, you know, and so I think that like, the real estate industry for a long time was missing that regular person kind of like persona. And we needed a brokerage where just because you don't look or act the part doesn't mean you're not better or just as good as those kind of people that do. And I think we've created that culture. We hated the word culture when we started. I remember me and Corey used to be like, oh, culture, man, culture. Right. But then you realize the whole time we were building a culture. And so, you know, I hope that we always stay true to that culture, no matter how big we get. And I know that I'll always be that guy, to a fault sometimes. But yeah, hopefully I answered the question. I have no idea.
You absolutely nailed it. When talking about branding, what I'm hearing from you is lifestyle marketing, right? You're not marketing some stale stuff. You're trying to create something that people want to be a part of, right? Whenever you're marketing for a bar or restaurant to get people to come, why are they coming? It's not because of the chips and salsa, it's because of the atmosphere. And then when talking about, although chips and salsa is a good draw, but whenever you talk about the culture and the attitude of the company, I hear authenticity and I hear chip on your shoulder, right? You're not going to tell me what I can't do.
No.
And I think that resonates with us as a partnership. And I think it resonates with most of our agents, that when someone tells you you're not going to succeed, you say, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Watch it. So I really get that. the other part of that like 14-part question was vision.
Okay.
We can put that on a shelf.
I can talk
Come back
about
to
that.
All right, hit it up.
There's a lot of things there. I can't remember all that.
I know. That's the way I just pack a lot into it.
So I think our vision always remains the same. I think it's to always be ahead of the curve, to always move forward, to always put everyone in a position that they have the best opportunity to be successful, right? That's our job. Our job isn't to create your opportunity for success. It's to support your vision for success, right? Like we always talk about that. Everybody has a different path to success. I think people get so focused on learning or watching what people do to be successful that they forget that you can forge your own path to success. And we have to do things that support that. And I think we did a really good job last year during the NAR stuff to be ahead of that and just to show that we're going to be leaders and we're going to be ahead of the game. And then now everything's changing and we're making the appropriate changes. And for us, the IVRE Connect and IVRE Home and the moving over to Borough and the IVRE Connect. So T360 just came out with their top 300 tech. Borough is #1 for SEO and for website, right? One of the things that drew us to Borough was SEO, because in my opinion, one of the things that came out of the NAR lawsuits is the fact that we realized as an industry, we're too reliant on everyone else telling our story. And for me, I think that we need to tell our story and that we need to prove that we are the professionals and we know what we're doing. And being able to provide an app to your consumer to say, hey, don't worry about Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, all those people. Here's an app. You're going to be able to get all the same information on that. You're going to get all that. And guess what's not going to happen? You're not going to get 15 phone calls a day from lenders trying to take your business, from people trying to convince you that you need to go to them. That's not what this is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be a home buying process. And you're supposed to enjoy that and not be overwhelmed. And the second part of that is with SEO comes lead generation and comes recognition. And the more that our SEO is built up at a corporate level, the more our company stores get that SEO, the more our agents get that SEO, right? Which means when you search for a home in your area, somebody searches, we're hoping that you see an Iron Valley listing at the top of that, right? So that somebody can look towards Iron Valley as being the real estate brokerage in that area. And those are some of the reasons we moved, not just because we wanted to change, but because we saw the industry shifting and we wanted to make sure that we have that opportunity for all of our agents to be successful in the change of times.
Appreciative of that vision and leadership. That's why we're here. One thing you mentioned, two questions, like 3 parts ago, was inclusivity. And that kind of took my brain to this. How do you feel that an agent's personal opinions on politics, religion, or social issues specifically, when shared on social media, like, is that a positive? Is it a negative? Is what it is? Like, what are your thoughts on balancing authenticity with professionalism online?
Yeah, I don't think opinion is authenticity. Right, so I think authenticity is who you are as a person and what your character is and what, I feel like I've done a very good job. If you look at my social media presence, I have nothing personal on my social media. Actually, I know Chris had made a comment, I think before, like, does Rob ever do anything with his kids? I don't see him on social media. Well, you know what? I don't hang out with my kids so that you can validate that I have a good relationship with them. I don't go out with my friends so that I can be validated that I have friends. Right, so I don't have social media because I want to share my life with people. I have social media because I want to share my business prowess with people. I want to show people what I'm doing because that builds that business. So for me, I think that, if you want to use your social media to show your friends and family because, you're from a different area, I get that. Some people want to, they move to another part of the country and they use social media just to share that with everyone in one place. And I think that's great. But I think if you're in business, you have to be careful. And I think what people forget in real estate as an agent is you are your own business now, right? So your reputation is everything. So, be careful of what you're putting on social media. Be careful of being too opinionated or pushing people to one side or the other. I know when I was in, the nightlife game, I was an asshole on social media.
What?
Oh man, I would put all kinds of crazy stuff, but What's that?
Only on social media?
Everywhere. I mean, that's still that, but just not on social media. But, you know, I'm gonna say it, it's so cliche, but this is always my line for marketing: perception is reality. And if someone perceives you to be someone that is over opinionated and, you know, maybe not someone they align with, they're not gonna do business with you. And do you really wanna alienate those people from doing business with you? Who cares who people voted for? Like, are you buying a $750,000 house? Oh, you know what, sir? I don't wanna make $20,000 this week because you voted for the wrong president. You're gonna go broke really quick, right? So for me, you know, you see it all the time, restaurants. The owner will post something, restaurant gets banned, it's shut down and they lose money. Like, don't do that to yourself.
So, he did not want to be prepped on any of these questions, but he said exactly what I was hoping he would say. Because that's basically my philosophy. Chris and I, we talked about that yesterday, which is, is that Elmo?
Making fun of how
Yeah, hecklers?
loud my
Are there
laugh is.
hecklers, right?
50% of the people are gonna agree with what you say, max.
Okay.
No, I mean, like on social media,
Oh, yeah.
50%
Oh, yeah.
agree with you, maximum. So just be careful. Would you consider that that's like the largest marketing mistake that agents make, or are there other mistakes that you see that people make on a regular basis?
I mean, there's a ton. I think that, people too often do things on social media because they see other people do it. I think people follow them, like, you almost just go through the motions, like, well, I know you have to do this or you have to do that. What are you doing to set yourself apart, right? What are you doing to make people be like, oh, that's the person, that's the one I have to talk to, right? That's the one I wanna go to. So I think that we too often follow what other people are doing and just do that because that's what they're doing. Well, that's what's good for their business. That's not necessarily what's good for your business. You have to find your lane and your niche, right? And what is that? Again, like, perception is reality, right? So if you're just another agent that's posting homes for sale all the time on social media, that's what you are. And do you want to be that? Maybe you do, or maybe you want to be different.
I agree, and I'd have to say that if you're going through the motions, doing what everybody else is doing, then what you're doing lacks authenticity. It's not you, and I hate to be cliche, but you know, they exist for a reason. What trends in real estate marketing you think would define the next 5 years? I mean, we can't really go more than 3 or 5 year chunks in this industry, right?
Yeah.
But what do you see as an emerging trend that is driving marketing and is gonna be important to our brand and our agents going forward?
I think we've been saying a lot authenticity, but I think building trust. I think that our industry has been under fire and will continue to be under fire. And I don't think people understand our value or our worth. I think it's very easy for someone who makes, you know, $60,000 a year to get angry that you're about to make $15,000 in one transaction. But what they don't understand is all the hard work and dedication you've put into 3 years leading up to that one transaction, right? It's like, you have a mechanic, right? And he walks up and he looks at your car and he's like, he knows exactly what's wrong with it. He charged you $150 and you're like, you just charged me $150. It took you like 5 minutes. No, sir, it took me the last 20 years to be able to walk up to your car and say, this is what's wrong with it. And I think that, in a world of social media where nobody is genuine anymore, where you don't even know if the person looks like that anymore, okay? I can tell you right now, they're not with us anymore, but at a certain office within our franchise, we had a team of people. It was a very large team, okay? And I would see them all over social media, they all had their pictures up there, and then I saw them. And none of them looked like their pictures, they were all AI-driven pictures, right? And they were all edited. And, you know, I think that's what everything is on social media. So I think that be genuine, be authentic, and build people's trust and show them that you're good at what you do.
Very good. Do you think there's a effective underutilized marketing tool or approach that a lot of people miss out on?
I think the power of networking is often forgotten about in today's social media world. I think that we're too reliant on social media for marketing. I think it's really easy to market on social media, but I think there's power in building relationships and personal relationships. And I do feel like we're getting back to those days a little bit where people are longing for personal relationships. And that, so I think to me, like, just really being out and about and putting yourself out there, but that requires you to step out of your comfort zone. That requires you, when you meet somebody, to say, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I do such and such. Oh, I'm a realtor. You have any friends looking to buy or sell right now? Like, what is it? Here's my card. Like, if you do, I'd love to take care of them. And I think that we need, in a world of like, we're just talking about this. There's a big team that's not with us in an area that I'm from.
Yeah.
Yeah, not with us yet. Well, maybe I don't want that with us, but I don't know. And they're on the video kit now, right? But none of their videos have anything to do with real estate, right? They're just trying to become popular so that people then think about them as real estate agents. And I was talking to somebody in the investment world, real estate investment world, and we had lunch, and they're like, I used to really respect them. He's like, now I think they're idiots. Because like, okay, that's cool, like go around the shops and say you're doing this and doing that and like talking about all these things. If you're spending all of that time doing that, then how much time are you spending on your craft? How much time are you spending on your real estate craft? So, yeah.
And I think that networking is absolutely pivotal. I mean, that's how I've done my business. I suck at social media. Cold calling is not something that's gonna happen ever. Just not good at it. So you have to do what you're gonna do, right? And do what doesn't suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
So if you're messaging, if the way you address the world is through video, great, that's good for you, but it's not my speed. So I would encourage people to find themselves and do that. And that's what you've been able to do, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the platform that you built in Iron Valley has allowed brokerages to form that each have their own personality. And then the agents that we have to develop and explore their own personalities and how they relate to the world.
Can I add to the last thing?
Please do.
I think the other thing that people think about is I think we're so focused on the front end of marketing, but I think people forget about after the sale so often, right? And it's something that Ken actually from Burrow was just talking about, that I think it's like 30% of the people that you sold a home to will forget about you in 6 months, or no, 30% remember you, 70% forget about you, right? And I think that we're so focused on generating new business that we forget about all the business that we can get from the people that we have helped. And just making sure you're staying in touch with those people and that you're discussing. Like, if people loved you during the sale, then why not stay in touch with them? If they liked you, they're gonna be your biggest fan, they're gonna be your biggest marketer, and that's free marketing. You're not paying for that. And I know I made that mistake early on because I started my business by buying leads. And I would just buy leads and it was turn and burn. Boom, let's get more leads. Boom, let's sell another home. Let's go another one. And then I remember like a year later, I had this couple that I loved. They were one of my favorite couples that bought a house with me. And they listed it with another agent. And I'm like, what the hell? And I called them and I'm like, dude. And he's like, Rob, he was like, I got a call from my company. They were relocating me. I had literally had a flyer on my counter from another agent that markets here in the area, and it just looked at it, and they were at the front of my mind, and I called them. And that's when I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. Like, like I'm letting all that business go that I could have because I'm so focused on the next one that I'm not thinking about the people that I've already served.
Very true. Talking about the difference between transactional and relationships. We can get back into that a little bit, but while we're closely on the topic, I know there was a lot going on at Elevate, including the rollout of the new brand refresh, including some kind of reconfiguring of brand standards regarding colors and stuff like that. So I'd love to hear more about your philosophy on personal branding within the Iron Valley framework. And how agents can express themselves while still aligning with the brand.
Yeah, I think and I was super guilty of it. I think we were a little too rigid with our branding for a while. Not, I think it's good to have, continuity is everything. Like your brand has to look the same across the board. And we started talking to some marketing experts and just looking at things. And it's like, our brand is supposed to be about letting people express who they are. And then we're going to tell them like, you know what, all your advertising has to be rust and black, and like, no, I know you don't like rust and black, but just do it. And we started talking and really what came out of that was, if they're not changing the colors of your logo, they're not changing the colors of your branding specific pieces, let them express themselves through the colors that they feel like that resonate well with them. How is somebody supposed to build a business on that's genuine and on how they feel if we just keep forcing them to be black and rust? Right? Like, so that's what we kind of looked at, and we were like, we're spending so much time on policing dumb stuff like that we're missing things that are probably way more important. So, and one of the things that really like triggered it was, we have a realtor in Hershey, and she was starting to establish herself and put stuff out that was like this pink color. And I called her and I'm like, what are you doing? And she was like, I'm like, we don't do pink. She's like, yeah, but that's me. She was like, it softens my brand. She was like, the people that I deal with, they don't want like the hard black and rust.
Industrial.
Yeah, they didn't want that. And she was like, I'm in the middle of Hershey and I'm dealing with all these Hershey clients and they like that I'm a softer brand. And I'm like, you know what? Good point. Damn, learn something every day, And I just went to the marketing team and we started talking about it. And that's when we made the decision that we're going to let agents, within reason, expand their color palette when it comes to branding.
Okay, so while we're on it and to make sure that everybody has the information they need, like, what's that process look like if somebody wanted to use a pink background? Is that something they come to us? Do we send it up through corporate for approval? Like, or is that a go as you will kind of scenario?
You just don't be an idiot. Like,
Oh, man.
So easy to be an idiot.
Yeah, but like, I think the problem is that some people don't understand what colors go well together, and that's where it was hard, and trying to police that was difficult. Listen, if you have pink, don't put rust on the IBRE logo, right? Use the all white logo, use the all black logo. Like, just use common sense when you're doing stuff like that. We don't want everything to be approved. If we approve 2,000 agents for everything that they put out, you know what? Like, there goes the profit. We're done. Not that there's profit anyway, right? Because we give it all back to the agents, but just kidding. But like, there goes the neighborhood, right? Like, there's no way that we could police 2,000 agents and get everything approved. So I think we do keep an eye out on social media. My marketing team keeps an eye out on social media, and we ask that all of our owners do. But I think let's just use common sense. And if it matches and it looks good, cool. And if you don't know, then ask someone. If you're not 100% sure, don't put it out there. Just reach out to your owner and be like, hey, I'm thinking about putting this out. Does this look okay? Good deal.
Justin, we got to switch connection. We have an unstable connections. Just give me a second.
Pause here just 1 second. Stay tuned while we have a message from our sponsors.
All right. Can you hear us out in Zoom land? Okay. Yeah. All right.
All right,
Thanks.
very good. While we're taking a break here for our sponsorship, I just want to tell you, it is still important, if you're not using one of our templated formats, to get approval on this flyers, banners, other marketing materials. Thanks. Okay, let's talk about the new IVRE logo. Do you guys have a name for that, or is it just IVRE?
IBRE.
All right. What inspired that? Do you feel it's like super important to our journey forward, or is it just a little bling?
No, I think it's huge. So when I first came to the company, we had Iron Valley Real Estate, and Adam made the logo himself. God love him, love that guy. But that is not his forte. All right. And it had 4 or 5 different fonts. You couldn't read IVRE. It was like some weird like cursive thing going on. I'm not really sure what it is. And the first thing I said, because I have a marketing background, And I'm like, dude, we gotta do something about that logo. He's like, no, you're crazy. I'm like, okay. And we started growing in the Harrisburg area and everybody's like, dude, your logo. And I'm like, I know. And so we decided to reach out to the 1000 Watt, which is the #1 marketing firm in the country for real estate brokerages. And we're like, hey, could you help us? Right. And at first he's like, yeah, it's a minimum of $100,000. And we're like, yeah, sorry about it, bud. Have a great day. And then we got to know, Adam and I actually got to know the owner, Mark, and he loved us. And he's like, I'm gonna give you a really huge discount because I believe in what you guys are doing. And he did. So Adam and I flew out to Portland, Oregon, and we met with them. And one of the conversations we had with them was, if we really want to grow this thing to a large level, should we get rid of the name Iron Valley Real Estate now while we're super early on and only have 3 offices? Should we abbreviate it? What should we do? And we went through a whole process with them and they came back and they were like, first thought was to just change it all together because it's so regionally specific. They were like, second thought was to abbreviate it IVRE. And then the third thought was, no, let's go with it and make it more modern and clean. And that's what we ended up going with. So that was always in the back of our head, the IVRE, because we all kind of like that idea. We're like, well, I kind of like the idea of IVRE. And so there's a couple years ago that as we're franchising out, we're starting to run into some issues, right? Like in Florida, they're like, well, there's no valleys in Florida. And is this a gym? And stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, maybe we'll think about that IVRE thing again. And then we're all like, no, let's not do that, right? And so Jalen and the marketing team abbreviated the newsletter. And on the front of the newsletter cover, it was IVRE. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, I really like that. And Adam calls me, because if you know about anything, I always want to change everything. And Adam's like, please don't change anything. So that's the relationship that him and I have. And he calls me, he said, hey, I really like the way IVRE looked at on that. And I said, yes, let's go. And I'm like, does that mean we can start running with it? He's like, oh, well, yeah, I think we should. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so I went to the marketing team and I'm like, guess what we're doing? And they're like, what? We're doing IVRE. And for me, I think that when you look across the board, when you look at real estate, everybody's done it, right? Like Keller Williams did the KW thing, Coldwell Banker did the CB thing. It's like across the board. But if we're really going to grow this, I think that I look at it as IVRE allows us to be more of a brand, like a brand. Like you don't know what IVRE is. You read Iron Valley Real Estate, you know that it is. Like I've had people be like, yo, that's a badass shirt. Where can I get that? What the hell is IVRE? And I'm like, thanks. It's cool. Like I think our focus, and we've talked about it a little bit earlier, is let's just make it a cool brand. Like, let's make it something to be proud of that we can walk around and roll out. And then that invokes questions. If you have an Iron Valley Real Estate shirt on, okay, they're real estate, cool. If I have IVRE, they're going to be like, yo, what the hell is IVRE? Oh, Iron Valley Real Estate, I'm a real estate agent. What's your name? Then it kind of opens that door. So, and it allows us to grow. We do want to be in 50 states still. We still want 250 offices and 10,000 agents. And I think having a streamlined, clean brand like that gives us that opportunity.
Okay, very good. And that was a clue in the vision about where the company goes. All 50 states, 250 offices, 10,000 agents. That's a next step. That's not a last step, I would assume.
No.
Like, so where do you see yourself and the company 10 years from now?
Man, I would say in 10 years, and that's a long time from now, I'm gonna be super old, but.
Whoa.
I mean, honestly, in 10 years from now, I would love to just be on the board of directors and watch this thing really grow, with people that are better and smarter than I am. That's always the goal, I think, is you can start a company, but founders typically can only take a company so far before you need people that are better and smarter than you. And, in 10 years, I would hope that I have really smart people that are incredible at what they do, running the company, and we just stay on top just to make sure the vision is always kind of aligned with what we always wanted it to be. And in 10 years, I envision us being just a major player. I think what I love about Iron Valley is when you look at some of these brokerages that are out here that have grown exponentially over the last couple of years, I feel like they're more of a fad. And I feel like if you look year in, year out over the last 30 years in real estate, there's a lot of brokerages that were fads and they came and they disrupted and they went, and they came and they disrupted and they went. But there's brands that have been consistently there for years. And that's, to me, what I think that's what we've started. And that's what the foundation lies ahead, is just to be a brand in real estate that is timeless and can be here forever.
I applaud that. I mean, I think we are disruptors. However, we are anchored in a lot of, traditional real estate, so we're not that far detached from something that feels comfortable and solid, and still has a very solid foundation, so it's good. What does that long-term success look like for you personally? Like, when you're done, you're gonna kick your feet back. You're gonna say, what are you gonna be most proud of, and what does that success look like?
First of all, I don't think I'll ever sit back and keep my feet back. I'll probably start 10 other businesses.
Okay.
I already opened a business this year just because.
Was that the
The
motorcycle shop?
motorcycle shop. I
Yeah.
did that for friends, actually. I opened that so they had a job and they could get paid reasonably because they were getting screwed over where they were at. That's actually why I opened that. But I don't think I'll ever settle down like and just relax. I just can't do it. It's just not in me, and that's okay. Like, I think everybody's like, oh, you gotta take time for yourself and relax. Well, what if doing this is what makes me happy? Right? And I think so many people are so focused on how they feel. And then they want to project that onto you. Oh, you're wrong because you want to work all the time and you want to kill yourself and you can't, life's too short to do that, right? But what if the way sitting on a couch watching TV and drinking a beer makes you feel great? What if me developing businesses and growing them and seeing what if that makes me feel good? That makes me a bad person because I want to work hard the rest of my life. That means I'm wrong. Like, and that's where I look at it, is that I think people are so focused on what makes them happy, thinking that other people have to do the same thing to be happy, and that's not true. And I don't care if you don't want to work hard and you want to just relax and you want to retire, do it. Go get a boat, fish, drink. I'll do that. But while I'm fishing and drinking, I'm probably thinking of 5 other business things that I want to do in that day, and that's just how my brain works. And that's my happy place. And I'm driven because I came from nothing and I have kids and I want my kids to be able to, for generations to come, for people to be able to have opportunity in my family. And that's what's going to get me there.
Great. Well, you crossed off a lot of other questions that I had here, like, if you weren't leading Iron Valley Real Estate, what other profession or role would you pursue? And that's business formation. You're a creator, right?
I am. So actually, my goal long term is I want to create. So what I see, and I do it all the time now, I just don't talk about it. What I see in this world is there are a lot of people that are really talented, a lot of talented people, that if somebody just took the time with them to teach them how to start a business and run it, they would be wildly successful. However, we're in a society where nobody wants to see other people win. And I think that's wrong. And I think that I've been given this opportunity to be super blessed with business. And I live with and hang out with a lot of people who aren't. But man, those people are talented, right? Like, I got a buddy who can do anything with wood, right? Like, I can't do that. That guy can make anything. And I got another guy who has a tree trimming services. He works his ass off, but he didn't even have a business card when I asked him for one, right? So for me, I want to create a business that just consults for people that want to open their own small business. I want to make money off it, of course, but I want to do it in a way that's affordable for them. And if it has to be creative, where it's like, hey, give me 10% of your business, don't give me any money up front, I'm going to be invested in your growth and your success, then let's do that. And I've been doing that behind the scenes for free for a long time. Instead of buddy, the tree trimming guy, it was like a month ago, and I'm hanging out with him. He's like, you're in real estate. Hey, I trim trees. I'm like, that's cool, man. Give me a business card. He said, what do you mean? I said, give me a business card. I said, I don't have one. I said, go to my garage next week. Come on Wednesday, an hour. And so I sat with him, and I'm like, all right, what's it called? Get on Canva, I'm like, bang out a quick logo. I'm like it? It's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. I'm like, bang out a business card. I'm like, you like that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, Facebook banner. There you go. I'm like, advertisement on Facebook in an hour. And he's just looking at me like, what the fuck? And I'm like, you need business cards. I said, you can order these through Canva. You get 100 of them for like $20, and I'll ship them to my house and then I'll bring them here and you can pick them up. He said, all right, done. And he did all that. So he posted it that same day, all that stuff. And I run into him the next week. He's like, dude, I'm slammed. And I'm like, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And I didn't get anything from him out of that, right? Like, I just saw the guy who was trying to chase his dream, who didn't have anybody who was willing to spend 1 hour with him, and change his business. So to me, that's my long-term goal. That's what I want to do.
That's very admirable. I mean, and that's why we have Christy. She keeps our business running. No, that's Chris.
Disrespectful.
Yeah. Alright.
So we know that the grass is always greener in business, right? On the other side. But what people fail to understand is that's because there's shit. That's why the grass is greener. And like, it's hard to get through that sometimes. Like, it's really hard to keep on powering through whenever it's challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and actual tears that go into this. How do you stay inspired in the hard times to keep moving forward?
I think first of all, you have to identify your why, right? As super cliche as that shit is. And then you have to be so focused on your why, nothing else matters. And I think that people just get so caught up in that moment. But like, listen, yesterday was yesterday, today's today, there's always tomorrow. So for me, if I'm caught up in what happened yesterday, I'm missing today and I'm not preparing myself for tomorrow. So I'm always looking at it like, okay, that's over with, it's done, move on, what's next? And some people look at that as like a downfall, but for me, it's great because why am I gonna, like, you know, I've been through a lot of trauma in my life, but if I focused on the trauma that I dealt with in my life, then I wouldn't be able to move forward ever, right? So in why focus on it? It happened. I can't change that it happened. I'm not going to ever erase that. And I'm sure as hell not gonna recreate it and make it happen again. So the only thing you can do is move forward.
Soldier on.
Yeah, that's it.
Very good. We're right on time. I got time for about 3 more questions.
I'm here all day. I love this. This is fun. I like to talk. Sorry, guys.
We love it. If you could change one thing about your journey or the company's path or the company's journey, you get to choose, you could tie them together, I don't care. What would that be?
Oh, man. I think personally, I think that I wish I would have learned what I just said at a younger age. I think that I wish that I didn't listen to the outside noise and listen to people telling me who I should be and what I should be. And I should have just listened to myself inside, knowing that I'm destined for greatness. And I let the outside noise tell me that I'm not. And then I tried to fit that mold. And when you look back at it, I self-sabotaged so many great opportunities for myself because I didn't feel like I deserve it. And the moment that I said to myself, I fucking deserve it, that's when I was able to move forward. So if I look back personally, I'm gonna say, I just wish at a younger age, I would have learned to trust myself and not listen to what everybody else thought. For the business, I wish we would have taken a lot of money in the beginning. I wish we would have gotten an investor with a ton of money and not have had that constraint. Because what we've done organically and we've done on our own, and there's some power in that, so I'm not discrediting that. But I think that if we would have found the right way to take money early on, we'd probably be 5 or 10 years ahead of what we're at right now. And so if I would be able to do it in the beginning again, I would say not to be scared to take money from people and to be able to reinvest it in the business the right way.
And again, have faith in yourself right there, because you didn't want to take that money because you didn't want to be beholden to somebody else.
100%.
I think that that's a very, that huge statement about listening to yourself, having faith in yourself hits really close to home for me and for a lot of people. Don't beat yourself up though. That's not something that you can be taught. You have to teach yourself. That's, so thank you for that, for letting us on behind the curtain there. If someone were considering joining Iron Valley, either as an agent or a partner, a franchisee, like, what's the one message you'd want them to hear directly from you? Like, what would you tell them?
That's tough. I should have had preparation for that one. Oh, man. I think the message should be do what you truly feel is best for yourself, and it's not Iron Valley, that's okay. I don't think, we've always said it, we're not the end all be all brokerage. And the beauty of all the different brokerages that you have, you can find a place you can call home. And I know that not everybody may align with who Iron Valley is, and that's okay. So I would rather see someone say no and be happy somewhere else than say yes and be miserable. But don't discount us because you're probably just gonna be happy with us because we're great.
That's it. And you know, it always sucks when somebody comes to us and we're their first brokerage because they don't know how good they have.
Yes, we
Uh,
had somebody that came back 3 times. How's that doing?
so, you know, the next question that I had was if you could go back and tell your teenage self one piece of advice, but you already told us what that would be, and that's to have faith in yourself and listen, listen to your own voice and stuff like that.
My phrase is be unapologetically you.
That's it.
That's what I've taught my daughter since day one, because you know, it's unfortunately a man's world in the sense where people in business don't really look at women at the same level, you know, naturally, it's a natural thing. And I never wanted her to be in that position, and I never wanted her, you know, especially for the youth today, I can't even imagine how hard it is to be a kid today with social media and the pressures that come with that. We didn't have that. You know, you could just punch somebody in the face if they were an asshole. You can't do that anymore. And you know, for her, I just wanted to teach her, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be you. And if somebody makes you feel bad for that, tell them to go fuck themselves. Be unapologetically you. And you know what? She's a freshman at JMU. She has a 4.0, double major. So I think that she listened.
That's your pride and joy.
My kids, man. Oh, my kids did. Yeah, they're good.
So I took notes throughout this. I'm going back and I'm looking at the big notes that I took, and the things that I pull out of this are, don't tell me what I can't do. Be yourself. Focus on the results, not the time you put into it. Focus on the relationships. Be true to yourself, and we need to tell our own story. And if I had to write a bunch of suggestions on a board for vision or mission for our company, those are the things that I would put on there. So thank you, Rob.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you're
your
welcome.
time.
I appreciate it. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
Question,
Anybody else have anything?
questions
Just want
online.
to say thank you. This was amazing,
No, you're welcome.
inspiring.
Thank you.
That's great.
Chills.
Oh, yeah.
Almost cried.
Yeah, it's all right. We all do it. We're intense.
Ask if there's any questions online.
Any questions online? What do you got, guys? Don't be bashful.
Ask me anything, I'm here for it.
Like run back to your keyboard from the TV. Kyle,
I'm not, should I get online because I missed my chance?
no, go for it. Go.
So what's Iron Valley? So you get to speak for all of them. What is the plan like moving forward? Because you do your thing, obviously, and that's a big reason why some of the people are here.
Yeah.
But how do you straddle that line of doing your thing and still showing the importance of the trainings and things like that that are necessary for people?
That's great, and I'll give you a full understanding of why we've been moving away from do your thing, right? So do your thing always to us meant if you're a part-time agent, that's fine, do your thing, right? If you're a single mom that's just trying to make it and you can only work 3 days a week, do your thing. If you're a hard hitter and you're gonna spend $2,000 a day on leads and you just wanna get after it, do your thing. That's what do your thing meant for us, right? And then it started becoming misconstrued into a thing where it's do whatever you want. And that's not what it means. It doesn't mean do whatever you want, right? And so we started moving away from that, and we started moving into things like we got your back, right? Because we got your back kind of means the same thing as do your thing, right? Do your thing, we got you, like we got your back, no matter what that is, no matter what you want to do, we got your back. Unless you want to be a criminal, then we'll just leave you alone because I don't want to go to jail. I like my freedom. But it's we got your back, and that is, we still believe that everyone should do their own thing and have their own path to success. We just didn't want to allow the outside noise to change and twist that do your thing into something that it's not. And that's what they were doing, which is great. Cool. Good for them. But we just kind of shifted from that just to say, hey, listen, yeah, still do your thing, but we got your back.
I appreciate your perspective on that, Kyle, and I think that, yeah, you have to take responsibility for your own actions. Do, you know, choose your flavor, but you have to stay within the guardrails, right? Thank you for that.
There's several comments online. It was great. Thanks for being unapologetically you. Really enjoyed hearing your story and advice. Very inspirational. Thanks for the inspiration. So.
Thank
you. Good comments.
All right, if there's no more prying questions, we'll let you go. Thank you, everybody at home. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
And thanks, everybody here. We'd like to see you here next time if it's not raining or snowing.